Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Callan The Rockstar Potter, UFC veteran. If you don't believe me, check his Instagram. It's still there. Callan Potter, welcome.
Thank you, mate. Always fun. Always excited to have a chat to you.
Well, we've got to hit this quickly because there was a big UFC over the weekend. We don't normally cover like the actual UFC, but I wanted to get your thoughts on three guys that I'm going to put forward to you because you've been in that experience. Jack Della had a few opponents fall out. The struggle of that. Jimmy Crute, unsure about retiring. And Shannon Ross with obviously the devastating defeat where he got knocked out in 17 seconds. And, of course, your entire camp leading up to that moment and then for that performance to happen. Can you talk us through you've been in similar situations to all three of those?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start with Shannon. That you know, I am a massive MMA fan. I love seeing that's a great highlight for the gentleman that got the win. But that did break my heart. You know what I mean? I love MMA, but I love Australian MMA more than that. So to see Shannon go down like that, and again, you know, I hope he gets another stride. You know what I mean? It's not a great start to his UFC. He is that level. I've seen him compete on local scene. He's a gun. You know what I mean? I hope he gets his another crack in there and really show the world just what he is capable of.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. I mean, you had we've talked about it before, but like the knockout to Jalen Turner, who, I mean, you're probably excited about him losing to Dan Hooker. But like, talk us through like when you get knocked out on that stage, what's it sort of feel like?
Yeah, it's horrible. Well, I always say a knockout's better than a chokeout because when you get choked out in contest, you actually lose the fight twice. Because as you're going unconscious, like, oh, damn, I lost this fight. And then you wake up and you're like, oh, damn, I lost this fight. But knocked out is, at least it's sort of over and you're getting woken up and then just being aware that you've lost that fight. And that was one of those ones. Poor old Shannon went out pretty clean. And it's not a major things to fix. You've obviously got to keep your hands up at all times. But you know what I mean? I'm certainly not throwing cloud at his opponent. I don't think it was the ultimate setup, perfect Israel Adesanya faint setup punch. Then he just launched a big overhand right at the right time that Shan was trying to get a bit of his offense going and it landed. And that's all it takes in this sport. You zig when you sort of zagged and you're out. He's got the more he can, obviously he's going to hurt at the time, the more he can sort of push past that and go, this is the sport that I've chosen to do. Let's fix the things we can fix and hopefully get back in there and show the world what we can do.
And what was so without bringing up your record, I feel like you would have it burned in your memory, your worst loss of all time.
Oh, geez, there's enough to pick from. I'm certainly having the shortage of a bad loss. Mate, it depends. The one I always bring up, and it certainly wouldn't be the worst because it was the best one for me. But I remember feeling so low after Eugene Barrowman, again, coach of City Kickboxing, beat the snot out of me one night. But it was the most valuable loss of my career. Never have I felt more just absolutely futile in the middle of center ring, and but it was the most valuable one of all. So I always like to bring that one up. That and because it's not there on the record, and Eugene deserves to have that mention when he can because he was as much as he's an amazing coach, he was a very good fighter also. Yeah,
I believe did he beat Steve Kennedy as well?
He beat Steve. He TKO'd Steve Kennedy, and he tell you what, he took Tyler Manowara, who was as good as anyone getting around, anyone that saw him on the Ultimate Fighter series. He took Manowara to one of the closest decisions you'd ever see when Manowara was still undefeated.
And now he's his coach. Like that's how.
Everyone knows him as this gun coach.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you specifically, Jimmy Crute. I mean, you know him from the Melbourne scene, of course. He went through a stage where obviously a difficult loss, and he actually put his gloves down to almost signify he was going to retire. And then his coach, I mean, he obviously kind of backtracked that statement, but even his coach was like, what are you doing? Stop that. What goes through your head in that situation?
Yeah, look, it was obviously really rough for him. I haven't had as much time with Jimmy in recent times, you know what I mean? But he's in that same basket as a lot of guys, Jake Matthews, Jack Jenkins, guys that I have spent a lot of time in the room with. I'll always care about these guys. I've given them plenty of my blood and haven't taken quite as much as all of theirs. But these guys I care about really, really heaps. So, it's an emotional thing. And we got to realise, particularly with guys like Jake and Jimmy, we've watched these guys grow up center cage. You know what I mean? These are young men. You know what I mean? I know Jimmy's getting towards that, and same with Jack. They're still young men. They're still developing. You know what I mean? The emotions, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure if I remember what I was like at 25, 26 years of age. I was a muppet. I made a lot more worse decisions than just, not winning a fight for hundreds of thousands of dollars across the other side of the world. You know what I mean? So they're growing up a stage. I wish Jimmy nothing the best. A couple of things he said in his post I couldn't agree with more. You know what I mean? He's got to, I think there's a few things he wants to sort out with his identity, because that is his identity. Ever since he was 17 years old, he's been this gunfighter moving towards a UFC dream. You know what I mean? Very rarely do people have the Volkanovski route where it just goes on a very linear upwards path. You know what I mean? That's the uncommon person within uncommon people. So, he's going to have a few ups and downs. I wish him nothing but I've got nothing but love for him. And I hope that whatever he needs to battle to get back to who he wants to be, I wish him all the best.
And speaking of guys that are on that linear trajectory, Jack Della, what does it feel like to kind of have multiple fights fall through, finally get one? You're not fighting on the massive international, I think it was fight week card. You don't get that. You've got to now fight at the Apex. Have you had a similar situation happen in your career?
Yeah, well, you're going to love this. We'll do a quick 2 minutes on this, and then I'm going to go to Angry Cal. And I don't get that guy very much, but I think the viewers will enjoy it. Very quickly, 100% yes. When I first started, you could only get fights on kickboxing cards under no-hold-bouts rule, and there was 3 guys in the whole country that fought MMA. So, I remember getting ready for about 6 fights in a year and fighting twice. So that happened all the time. Jack's handling it like an absolute champion. They got him a fight. Awesome source for him. Very happy. Jack Della could fight a penguin in the Antarctica, and I will pay for the pay-per-view to watch that. So I'm all about a Jack Della fight. Moving on. Joaquim, is that his name?
Yeah.
Joaquim Buckley.
Shut
up. Shut up. I know nothing, absolutely nothing about promoting this game. I got no idea, but whatever you want, shut up. I love promotion. I love Charles Sutton's one of my favorite of all time. I love it. That stuff with Izzy and Driscus, a little bit on the nose. I don't care. These guys are going to fight. It's great promotion. You are not even in the same breath as where Jack Della is at the moment. And to throw things out revolving around his family just to try to get some clout and put yourself in the name is disgustingly untasteful. And we're not tasteful people. We're a bunch of cage fighters. I understand. But, mate, there's still a level. Be clever with it. You've just shown a lack of intelligence. And I tell you what, you the sort of muppet that a chase a park car. Just do something with some sort of cleverness before you want to go out and get that sort of fight. Oh, it really rubbed me the wrong way, if you can't tell.
And I'm going to speak on go back to your career as well. Have you ever had a moment where it got out of hand in sort of trash talk?
No. No. And do you know what? I fought Steve Kennedy. I thought, here we go. Finally, I'm going to get some. You know what I mean? And he was quite nice to me. No, not that I could think of. It doesn't sit that well with me. But I'm all about it. If you're willing, I love what Charles Sutton's a big fan. I'm a big fan of. If you're willing to get in there and fight, if you're at that level, there's probably going to be a fight happen. You know what I mean? Say something. But you got to remember, the clout comes back to draw a picture of you too. Just going there saying horrible things about the man's wife and family and all that sort of stuff. That doesn't make me think you're tough. It makes me think you're a muppet. You're not that clever to make something clever up.
Yeah.
So it was just horrible days. I don't believe I've faced it too many times in my career. If I have, it certainly hasn't stung deep because I can't remember.
We head back to the country, Australian MMA. Mate, quite a bit of movement. We've had some big fights announced. We'll just do a quick little recap of David Martinez versus Kieran Joblin. Did you get to check it out?
Yeah, great card, great fight. Martinez does what Martinez does, man. You know what I mean? He's always at that echelon. And that was a great opponent for him too. You know what I mean? It was definitely someone he wasn't just going to ragdoll, take his back and back choke me. You know what I mean? He had a couple of deep ones sunk in there. Joblin's nobody's fault. Joblin's an absolute warrior. You know what I mean? Joblin's been in there for so long, and I remember putting up in my little spiel on the rambles saying, you know, I'm certainly not throwing any clout at him because I love Joblin, number one Joblin fan. He looked on the back foot that night. Again, maybe it was just because Martinez is that good, but you know that's the guy that's been in there. He's probably been in there kickboxing all that 40 fights plus. You know what I mean? He's getting to that stage in his career, so he looks a little bit back-footed. And again, that could just be, a homage to how good Martinez is.
And look, I can only imagine that. Look, to me, very similar to how it was at featherweight, at lightweight. I feel like there's 4 guys. I'm going to throw them out to you. David Martinez, Josh Togo, Quilan Salkilld holding the belt, and then Jack Becker. Now, I don't like to disregard Blake Donnelly as quickly. I don't mind if he fights either one of them immediately. That doesn't do anything for me. It's just in terms of kind of who's on a tear and who is kind of on that win right now. And unfortunately, Donnelly having that 30-second loss just makes him take that step back when there's so many guys at the door. You've got a guy that's looking to be the first ever 3-time lightweight champion at Eternal. Josh Togo, who has been number 1 for so long. And Jack Becker, who, as you said, never really lost the belt. And then Quilan Salkilld, who we didn't know if he deserved the title shot for record, not for skill. But the display he put on, I mean, who do you want to see matched up where?
Mate, it's a great little melting pot. And we keep forgetting, like, this is how good Australian MMA is, that we keep forgetting that division's got the ultimate, got the king joker card hiding in the left pocket by the name of Wes Gapper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The ultimate, not only just sitting there in that sideline.
I got one for you as well. In the Legends division, I bring to you Damien Brown, George Sotiropoulos is.
Oh my God! Shut the front door.
I have heard November. I'm not telling you where. I'm just saying November. George Sots. Damien Brown. Damien Brown said himself that he wanted to fight George, but he wanted it at super lightweight. He's a big boy, trying to get it down to lightweight. They wouldn't take it at super lightweight, so they're potentially lightweight November. George Sots versus Damien Brown. So I just threw 6 fighters at you.
I had a bit of inside track on that. Do you know how I had a little bit of inside track of that?
Yeah.
Because said promoter called me and asked me if I was keen on fighting George Sotiropoulos. I quickly informed him, mate, I've got no interest in getting hit in the head anymore. And for me to even make light heavyweight, actually, I'm much skinnier at the moment, which is nice. I'll put that out there. But even to make it super lightweight at the moment, I'd have to chop a leg off. But
just quickly, were you interested in fighting, or did they just go, who's an old guy that was?
I think they got a Rolodex of ex-UFC guys. I'm sure Dylan Andrews and Kyle Noak probably got a phone call too. Went through their Rolodex of ex-UFC guys. Poor Soa Paley's somewhere, and they just said, "Hey, Soa, what's going on, mate? Do you want to fight George Soy?" anyone that's got that tag, I'm gonna take it out of the Instagram. It's killing me now.
Oh, I love it. So, what fights do you want to make? Look, that David Brown one, George Shots is happening. That's just for the fans. That's amazing. But out of those 4 guys, and I mean, look, as respect to Wes Kappa, I might even just, in my opinion, go Wes Kappa, Blake Donnelly. Just have that one.
Yeah, but I agree. That's a ripper. That's an absolute ripper. But I'm in agreement with what we talked about last time. Let's give Kappa a grappler, a heavy grappling-based guy. Now, not fair on him, and this is absolutely not a fair statement for him, but this is where I kind of want to go with it. And I said this in the thing. Martinez deserves a title shot. There's no doubt. He's just gone and beaten another guy. But I worry that if he gets in there, he's got every chance of beating Salkilld. Not saying that he would. But he's got every chance. So he gets that title again. I feel as soon as Donnelly comes back up, we're going to get version 3.0 of that. You know what I mean? Hey, I might be wrong, 100% might be wrong, but we've got this opportunity because once he gets to the belt, that could be the thing. Let's do the original plan. Let's make Martinez v. Kappa. The loser in that battle, not that it's a hard, not the matchup wise, but for what he deserves wise, the loser in that scenario is Martinez. Martinez has done enough to re-earn his title shot. I get that, but I love that idea. You know what I mean? And then if Kappa, who I don't believe is, again, here for a long time, he's here for the good time, he wins that fight, that's title shot. Straight off that. That's a title eliminator right there. Yeah,
no, I like that as well. And then does that mean you're making room for Becker Quillan, or what's your thoughts there?
Well, Becker's back in. Becker's back in grappling. How long we got?
July. It's the July 20, isn't it? July 20th.
July 30 for the King's Cup. So he's back in for that. Will be great to see him back cage. But he's still got November wise, doesn't he? I think I said, November wise. But I think I might have even said on my matches to make him and Martinez. But I'm taking a left. You know what I mean? I've got the prerogative to change my mind whenever I want, and I do. This is why I don't have producers.
Yeah, no, it's great. Look, my bet just on that, I still think Wes Kappa sits on the outside. Maybe they get like a, not a John Varkey because it's a different division, but like that style, like a Joblin. Like I wouldn't be surprised if you get like a that for Wes Kappa. Which I actually, now I just said that, I really like that. I personally think, and just my uneducated opinion, I think David Martinez versus Becker, you go after the Quillan and Josh Togo fight, and then
that's a river too,
and then the winner of that, because I think Becker needs, and this is going to sound disrespectful, but it's not. He needs like a warm up fight. I think not obviously that's not a warm up fight, but he needs that. That hype again, like if he can come in and completely destroy Martinez, then he puts a stake for Quillan. Like you're not even the real champ. You know what I mean? Like it builds that a bit more.
Yeah, I actually remember saying now in my video as well, why I like that matchup as well is coming back off that style of injury. That it's a great opponent, not because Martinez is no easy opponent for anyone that steps in that cage. But it's a great opponent where he's not going against a Kappa-style guy, a Togo-style guy, with someone that is going to put in heavy kicks and a heavy Muay Thai-styled fighter. You know what I mean? I would hate to see him, I want to see him get back in there without the worry of that first off. But again, you're fighting. So whether it sounds like I'm trying to baby the situation or not, but I like that matchup style-wise as well, coming off that injury.
Yeah. Now, let's go down to the featherweight division. This one has to be, mate, this is one of, now, the promoter of Hex, Jacob, he messages me all the time. He doesn't give me any inside knowledge, but he's often going, you ready? This one's going to break Instagram. And he goes, any bet who it is? And I just said, like, I literally spent 10 minutes. I went through all the rankings and I went, it's got to be Kaan. It's got to be Kaan and Abdalla. I threw that at him and he went, oh, you think we could get that done? And I was like, I guess you couldn't. And then literally like 5 minutes later, he posts it, Kaan Ofli taking on Abdalla Biayda for the featherweight championship. I mean, how good is that, Callan Potter?
Mate, we were talking about it. We were talking about it like it was, we were talking about being 20 years old and meeting the Swedish netball team. You know what I mean? Like that's the way we discussed it. We discussed it like the ultimate furthest fantasy. And it's here. It's here right now. I had to pinch myself. I think I had my headphones on, laying next to the wife in bed, and I gave out like a little excited squeal, and she hit me in the head. You know what I mean? That's the fight. That's the fight. Well done to the fighters. Awesome to the promotions. You know what I mean? That's the fight. That's so good.
It is indeed. And how do you think that one plays out?
This is what I love most about it. I have no idea what is going to happen in that fight. I have a vague idea of what both guys want to do, but I've got no idea how it's going to play out. You know what I mean? He's Biayada's range and takedown defense is really good. Kaan's very good at mixing it all up. Had a few issues early on with Wilbraham's range and distance striking, so that poses a few problems. And then Biayada had some issues when Medina was able to close the distance and squash him in a little bit. So, I got no idea whether I'm going to make a pick for this fight all the way up until it happens. I'm so excited about this fight.
Yeah, I became very close with the Absolute guys when I was in Melbourne, and obviously my relationship with Kickass and Steve and Abdalla is no secret either. Like that is this is one of the most exciting fights I've ever. Like I'm flying over just to see it. I think two guys that were forgotten about for years coming up to this fight. Yeah. They now the winner of this. I mean, I'm sick of people saying this, but the winner of this should get signed.
100%. You know what I mean? And I get if you like it's Van Heerden's done his work. I get that too. You can't put him off to the side. So and he was taking tough fights too. So this is no throwing any shade on him because of how good this match is made. But I love the fact that both these guys took this fight. You know what I mean? I was so impressed by both of them.
He really is, and I hope Van Heerden hears this, because what I actually want him doing is waiting in the wings for this is our promotion v promotion champion. This is what we actually want. Unfortunately, I think Justin is next, and Kaan Abdalla whoever's there is next. And I wish these two would fight because that would be incredible.
Mate, here we go. Picture this for you, right? So we got those two go at it. Winner starches the other guy. You know what I mean? MC's in there interviewing. Next thing, from the rafters of the Melbourne Pavilion, comes down Justin Van Hidden, Owen Van Hart style, but with a better rigger. Center cage.
What a reference. Google it.
And just throws his eternal belt on the cage. Goes, let's do it.
Oh, that would be good. Jacob, Cam, go have a coffee.
Yeah. Sorry out, boys. We got this covered, all right?
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm so excited. Now, I wanted to talk about the middleweight division for a moment, because this is assuming like everyone put their sort of I want UFC Sydney. They've obviously got an indication of who is and who isn't type thing. That's why you're seeing, Kaan take this fight and whatnot, because they're getting the advice that, no, you're not getting that. You're going to need to take this fight, or they're trying to sneak it in there just quickly so maybe they can get the late call up. Kevin, do you say we aware in the wings? That's fine. I feel like we're unsure yet what's happening there. But let's say hypothetically he's benched. Let's say he's next up type thing. You then got Matt Myers begging for a fight, even called out Jusay, and look, they had a bit of back and forth. I may have stirred the pot on that, but to see Matt Myers finally get it. Can you give us a little insight? Or do you know much about his opponent?
Brogan Anderson, yeah. So he's training now over at City Kickboxing. That sounds correct to me.
Yep.
He's over there now. Big, fit, good. His biggest downside of this is inactivity. You know what I mean? He's had some great wins and that, but his time in the cage isn't so good. The only going for him is poor Matt Myers, not to any fault of his own, hasn't had that cage time as well. You know what I mean? You see the guys that are having regular cage time, Biayada, who we just talked about, is a great example, really regular in the cage. Justin Van Heerd, another example, really regular in the cage. They're getting the benefits of it. So a couple of guys not coming back straight in, straight out. Good fight, though. A couple of big physical, imposing sort of guys in that way. I'll be interested to see the choices Brogan makes. You know what I mean? I've got a feeling he's going to try and sort of weigh on and grapple Myers. Myers has made welterweight before. I think he's going to try and lean on him. Brogan's super heavily stacked, that guy. I think he's going to try and get weight on. You see John Fraser's success in that first fight through the grappling aspect. That's how I believe it's going to happen. Then you see a man like that spinning back kicker another middleweight. You don't want to stand at that range with him for too long, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and look, it's a very, very exciting fight. But let's say hypothetically, Jusay doesn't go to the UFC. It's hard to get obviously a winner in that. So who do you see Jusay taking on next?
Well, the winner of that, 100%. So particularly if it's Myers, if Myers comes out.
We know that's not happening. We got contracts. You got two welterweight you got a welterweight middleweight belt for Jusay. You've got Matt Myers for Eternal. It's probably not happening. I mean, Kevin can go back to Eternal type thing. Hex isn't as I think tied down on that sort of stuff, and hopefully he does get signed to the UFC. But I'll put it to you like this: everyone has expressed what they want for UFC Sydney. Everyone wants to be on that card. I think I've even put my name to fight there. Like every single guy has done it. Who do you think really should be?
It's one of those ones where your best chance anytime. Like it was the same anytime I was fighting, and you knew a show was coming to your country. You've got to be ready. You know what I mean? You got to make sure your record's looking good. You know what I mean? And you got to make sure you're ready to get signed fresh out. So then to come over here and go, okay, we're going to add maybe 2 more fights. Let's pick 2 more guys. You know, that might happen. Doesn't happen lots. You watch all the cards. Most of the guys that are getting on these cards are late replacements because the Australian guys are pretty stacked at the moment. You know, Whittaker will be on there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Jake will probably be on there. Jack Jenkins will probably be on there. Malarkey, Shannon Ross, if they give him his up. Like you think about how many Australians we've already got on there. So to get plucked fresh out of nowhere to try and fill out that card, it's a big ask. So you've got to be ready, and you've got to make sure that you're showing them, I'm taking fights and I'm wanting to fight.
Here's a fight. Now, this is strictly rumor. This is strictly rumor, and it comes from no viable source. So if you are the promotion, do not go after anyone that might have this information. But I just saw that on social media, publicly, that Joey Luciano may have a fight lined up. I am hearing that it's Aldin Bates.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
Now, that take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But hypothetically, thoughts on that?
I love that Bates gets his shot again. You know what I mean? When he fought Della, that was for the title, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is his second shot at a title for a title?
Believe so. Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Look, I'm happy with that for him. You know what I mean? Like he does his yards, he gets in there and he fights the who's who. So he's on a 2-fight win streak now. No issue with that at all. You know what I mean? Would I put him favourite in that fight? And again, massive Bates fan. I was messaging him actually on here. He shared something. He said some nice words to me. I'm a massive Bates fan. That's a rough matchup for him. We all know what Luciano does well. You know what I mean? If Luciano's able to move past that absolute minefield of his boxing range and get hold of him, it's a rough night. But that is a minefield. I've seen Aldin Bates break very good grapplers' jaws 10 years ago in old AFC events. I know that man can, if he only has to half land to hurt you. So he has a shot no matter who he's fighting. So, look, that's a good fight. It's a tough fight for Joey. I hope he doesn't sort of go in there going, I'm just going to get hold of this kid. That's a way bigger task than you'd imagine.
And just to round it all out, this isn't an Australian man, but I would like you to sort of put the importance on his career and how it has affected Australia. That is JJ Ambrose.
Yeah, awesome. I was hoping that was exactly what you were about to say. Absolute legend, mate. He was just a champion bloke. I sent a message when he announced that retirement. Done more in this sport than most have. Fought all the tough guys. You look at that resume and fought everyone he could put in front of him. He'd be up there in one of my and this comes from nothing but a place to love. One of my sort of top 3 or 4 guys that I was very upset that I didn't get to share some cage time with, because you just look at everything that man could do, and I wanted to feel what it was like to have my neck squeezed by him and hopefully escape. But just a legend, mate. I've met him a couple of times. Champion guy, carries himself like an absolute star. I hope whatever he does in the next phase of his life, I'm sure he's going to dominate it too.
Yeah, I think when I do get the Australian MMA website coming up, which it will, I'm going to start doing some articles, and there's certain ideas that I'm floating by is like, top 10 non-Australians that have helped. Yeah, and it's guys like that. Even this is probably not as much, but like you guys like your Ben Royals who were like UK from Thailand has fought in Australia, like that sort of a version. Yeah. Even, I know Alan Philpott is from lives in Sydney type thing, but that style of from another country has helped build our MMA in this country. Yeah,
the old expat style. Charlie Allen is another great one for that one as well. You know what I mean? Guys that moved over here and got most of their career done on Australian soil. That's that they have to be part of the Australian folklore.
Yeah, but I feel like none have done it better than JJ Ambrose. So congratulations on the career, mate, and hopefully you enjoy the next stage of life.
Yeah, absolutely. Could not agree more.
All right, perfect way to wrap it up. Unless you got anything else, mate. I feel like we covered every promotion, every fight, every little excitement, and we didn't even scratch the surface on the fights that are to come. So that's how exciting Australian MMA is right now.
So much coming up. Beat down, Big D Brown's putting out some great matches. Big Stuart Nichols being it. They're talking about guys that, probably working on their way to get signed. There's just so much going on, mate. How easy it is that a couple of yobos like you and I could sit here talking for 2 hours about what's going on in the scene. That's how awesome, that's how fruitful the Australian MMA scene is at the moment.
Oh, it's amazing. Callan The Rockstar Potter, you can find him on all your socials. He's as crazy as he is in real life online. Enjoy it. I'll see you next time, mate.
Thank you, brother. Stay well.